We have big news. We have exciting news for you. Tell them what it is, Serena.
We are super excited to announce that we are starting our first membership this January 2024.
Yay! Membership.
So we're excited to let you know that we will be hosting a monthly membership where when you join, you will be
with us live in a Zoom room once a month for a workshop like we just hosted. It's going to be a workshop like that, one topic each month, a different topic. You might even help us come up with the following month's topic from inside our membership. Super excited to meet you. It was so fun meeting a few of you in our inaugural workshop. So we're really looking forward to that.
And when you are a member, you will also be receiving a monthly newsletter where I'm going to be a little more intimate and I'll be sharing the things that are working and the things that aren't working for me.
Yeah, like taking a tool that you've learned from the podcast and how you're implementing it and how well that worked, or maybe if it didn't work. And then Amma can put in my 2 bits worth. We'll see how that goes. But a membership newsletter and a membership live Zoom room workshop starting in January 2024. Can sign up through our Patreon link in the show notes, yeah?
Yes, everything will be in the show notes, and we can't wait to see you there, listeners.
We can't wait. Yay!
Hi, my name is Serena. I am a mother to a toddler and currently pregnant.
And hi, I'm Lisa, also known as the singing Amma. Amma means grandmother in Icelandic. I am a mama and an Amma.
At the beginning of my first pregnancy, I felt like I was lacking my village, which is why we are here creating a village with you, in hopes that you won't feel as isolated as I did.
I also felt the lack of a village in my early parenting years way back when. And I come to our village with a background in early childhood education. I have been coaching parents along their parenting journeys and supporting them for over 35 years.
Amma Lisa and I invite you to grab your latte
or your tea
and come sit around the proverbial fire with us each week,
when we come together to have a conversation where we'll be talking all things parenting, keeping it real, keeping it raw, right here with you. Hi, everybody. This is Lisa. And I'm joined by
Mama Serena.
Yeah. Amma Lisa, Mama Serena, coming at you right before the end of 2021. Take a deep breath. That was a year.
Oh, yeah. And it seems like COVID's never going to end.
Oh my gosh. Like at the end of 2020, I remember, well, actually, let's go back. At the end of 2019, a whole bunch of people in my circle were like, okay, 2020, new decade. Woohoo. Like, what are the 20s going to bring? You know, 3 months into 2020, it was like, oh,
dun, dun, dun.
exactly. And then at the end of 2020, I remember so many of us going, okay, we did that. Here's to 2021. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I knew when the pandemic was really early on that it was going to be a marathon and not a sprint, as some of the, top medical people were saying. But I don't know that any of us knew we'd still be this deep in it.
Oh, no.
Whole, almost 2 years later.
Yeah. And we're just getting into another phase of it.
Yeah. So here we are coming up for the end of 2021. And Serena and I wanted to talk about, family traditions and parents' traditions around New Year's Eve and New Year's resolutions.
Yeah. What everyone's getting ready for.
Yeah. Like, do you make resolutions?
I make resolutions. I never stick to them. It's funny because I looked it up. And my resolutions are always the same as the top resolutions, which is get healthier, save money, and like start working out, start a workout routine. And
Right. Yeah. You know
I'm good
how
at
many
saving money. That's something I've always done. But the eating healthy and working out, no. No.
you know how many new gym subscriptions there are
Oh
in
yeah.
January? January 1st. It's like hit the gym. And I mean, most people don't make it to the end of January.
No, and it's funny because you go to the gym and it's packed, and then February it's empty. It's funny.
Yeah. So there we go. So when we talked about, doing this episode and talking about New Year's resolutions, the first thing that came to my mind was I do not want you, parents in our village, to leave this conversation feeling like you've got more on your to do list. Because let's face it, we all have way too long a to do list these days. And so I'm going to, in our conversation here, for part of it, is shift the focus to how about ta-da lists? I learned that years ago, and I apologize. I cannot remember the person um, that I first heard that from, the ta-da list. Ta-da! Look what I did. So we'll get into a bit of the ta-da and not so much of the to-do list, but we'll talk about some ways to keep resolutions, right, Serena?
Yes.
That's what you'd looked into too.
Yeah. So I'll
Mhm.
go into that right now. So
All right, let's do that.
so we can figure out how to accomplish these resolutions that never get accomplished. Um
Wait,
one
wait,
of
wait, wait. Before I can't let you use
Sorry,
that
that's
as the
negative.
opening.
I'm
That is
sorry.
so negative. Let's look at how we could make these resolutions that we're going to do them that never get done. It's like, no, there we have not getting it done in the
And that's why they're not
conversation.
gonna get done again. No,
That's
this year they're gonna get done because we're gonna give you the tips on how to keep them.
okay. At the end of January, Serena, we are checking in with you. We're going to see how
Yes.
well you're doing.
I won't be a negative Nancy, sorry.
Okay, good idea.
That's my resolution.
There you go.
All right. So making them micro goals, being specific and realistic. So if your goal is to eat healthy, not just making your goal eat healthy, but say you'll have smoothies 3 times a week, fruit and vegetable smoothies 3 times a week,
So
instead of
really specific.
a McMuffin from McDonald's. um, and making it a micro detailed goal that's accomplishable because eating healthy is just very general. Also creating vision boards and having them somewhere where you can see them to remind you of those goals. Writing down your goals also helps you accomplish them more. It kind of digs it into your brain a little bit more, and documenting your progress. I had an agenda that was really good with that. 30 commit is it's a planner agenda. I don't
Mhm.
know how to say. But at
Right.
the beginning of each month, you write down what your goal is and you can tally off each day that you keep that goal, and you have to write your reward at the end of the month if you keep that goal. And it's really good. Did I keep my goals? Some months I did. Some months I did. But that's a good way. Also, practice patience and forgiveness. So, say your goal is to eat healthier, and one week you're just so bad. It's a birthday week, and you just go off track. Practice patience and forgiveness. And it's okay that that happened, and get back on track whenever you can, because the goal
Mhm.
is for the long run, not because you had one whole pie. You have to throw the whole resolution out.
That was quite a week. Is that in one sitting that you had a whole pie?
One sitting. Schedule time to accomplish your goals. So if you do want to exercise, make sure you schedule the time and say, I'm going to exercise in the morning before I go to work, and, try to stick to that routine. Also, a buddy system and asking somebody to hold you accountable. That for
Mm.
me is really good.
Accountability is
Yeah.
key to making any change in our habits in our daily life. Absolute key.
Yeah. So those were my tips on how to
All
keep your
right. I
goals.
wanted to dive a little deeper into some of those. What was the first one again?
Micro goals, making them
Yeah.
specific and
So
realistic.
really specific. So you
Mm-hmm.
use the example of don't just say I'm going to eat healthier because
Yeah.
who
Do
knows what that
smoothies.
means. But I'm going to have 3 fruit and or vegetable fruit smoothies, one smoothie 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then again with the exercise same thing, right? You could have a micro specific, I guess the specificity, the specifics of the goal. That's going to help. And I also really want to say keep your expectations low because if you say, I'm going to, you know, go for an hour walk 5 days a week, it might not happen. Really good chance it won't happen. If you say, I'm going to go for a half hour walk 3 times a week, there's a much better probability of that, right?
Yeah. And then you can build that habit
And you
with
can
starting.
totally build. Yeah. 20 minutes a day walking is really good for our bones and our lungs and, our mood. Just 20 minutes is great. And if you can
Mm-hmm.
do it 5 to 7 days a week, be outside 20 minutes a day, awesome. If you can do it 3 times a week, great. You know, so I think being specific, but also, I mean, they say shoot for the stars, and yeah, just don't do it. Just don't make your expectation of yourself so big that you're going to get disappointed and down on yourself. That's my
Yes.
encouragement.
The patience and forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And
And what was,
sorry.
that's okay.
Just like you said, starting off small with 20 minutes. Once you get to that, then you can work it up. But
Totally.
like you say, making it an hour 5 days a week, that's completely changing your schedule.
Yeah.
And to just change it like that is going to be hard and stressful, like you said. And you're just going to stress yourself out more because you're going to be like, I can't do it. I can't do it. What am And then it makes you just want to throw the goal out when
You
you feel
throw the
like it's
whole thing
impossible.
out the window. Everything goes out. Yeah. And what was the next one? The next one was,
Vision boards.
oh, yeah. So the vision boards. For those who haven't made a vision board, I love to get old magazines. Recycling depots often have them. You can ask around to your friendship circle if you're not a magazine buyer. And the great way to do a vision board is just to flip really fast through the pages. And what I do is I just tear out a page that I like something. I like the look of something. There's a word, there's a feel of the photograph has a feel to it. There's colors that I like, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be specific to your specific goals, but it could be more of a feeling of uplifting you. Like
Mm-hmm.
you could do one if one of your goals is to be outside more. Um, 3 days a week, I'm going to go for a walk outside. So it could be all outdoor things. It could be, people walking. If you have a dog, it could be people walking their dogs. It could be that kind of thing. But it could also just be just pictures and visuals and words that really uplift you so that every time you look at it, you get that intention of your goals
Yes.
and it puts you in a better frame of mind and you're like, oh yeah, it feels good to make that smoothie. I'm gonna go do that now.
Yeah, I like the words one. It's
Hmm.
like having your mantra up there or just reinforcing those positive thoughts.
I don't know if it's because I'm a writer, but when I make vision boards, there's a lot of words on
Yeah.
them.
No,
Like a
I
lot.
like the words too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also having a vision board party. Maybe that's how you celebrate New Year's. You have your friends and
I
family
have
come over and do
done
that.
that on New Year's Eve and I've done it on New Year's Day. And it's a really fun way to bring in the new year.
And each person can bring their own magazine or paper or whatever, and you all share and
Hmm.
put it together.
Yeah, exactly. What else was on there on your list?
Writing down your goals.
Yeah. So that would be again about getting it specific, right? And when we write things down, it does secure it more in a different part of our brain. And
Mm-hmm.
actually writing with a pen and paper, holding a pen in your hand rather than writing it on your phone or on your computer, that does a different thing to our brain function as well. And it sort of grabs onto it in a different way, apparently, in people who study brain science.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
documenting your progress.
Yeah. Now, okay, here's what happened for me when you read that one out or spoke that one. I got really stressed out. I was like, I'm thinking of all these young mamas out there who are just up to their eyeballs in busyness. And it's like, do I have to? Do I have to document my progress? So maybe instead of documenting your progress, which sounds like a job to me, this is a good segue into gratitude,
Oh yes.
right? And keeping track of, and that ties in with the ta-da list.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking earlier, Serena and I, about gratitude and the different ways to practice gratitude in our daily lives. And one of the things that I love to do with families is to create a gratitude journal. So a family gratitude journal. You could also one thing I love is actually doing a collage on the cover of your journal. If you just get a blank book from a stationery, and in the new year, hopefully, actually, the village here will have some family gratitude journals available for
Ooh.
sale.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. But you can do a collage on any blank journal with your magazine pictures and words and things. And that's a nice way to do an art project together that creates your journal. Now, bedtimes, depending on how many children you have, bedtimes can be a good time for doing gratitude. And depending on the ages of your children, if you have one child, you might want to write down gratitude each evening at bedtime. If you have more than one child, bedtimes might be total chaos, and they often are, even with one child. So, finding a time in your week, maybe it's Sunday mornings, maybe it's Sundays right after dinner, find a time that's specific and write down what each person in the family is grateful for.
Yeah, I made a planner, like a daily planner once, and got them printed out at Vista Print or something. And since to-do lists get very overwhelming for me, and I've bought millions of them, I made my own, which has only 3 slots for you to put 3 important things that you need to get done that day,
Mm.
and with little lines to detail out the steps you need to take to accomplish that goal. And then at the top of it is your 3 things that you're grateful for. Because
Cool.
yeah, I was practicing the gratitude journal for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
I was posting them on my Instagram stories, and out of nowhere other people that were following me just started doing it too and tagging me in what the 3 things that they were grateful for. And it wasn't something that I wanted people to, I just wanted to hold myself accountable and post it every morning. And then people just started following, and it was amazing.
Cool.
It was people that just randomly were like, I like that you do this, and then they started doing it and tagging me, and then I fell off. But
That's
I
awesome. And do
yeah.
you have those stickers available anywhere? Are they available in your Etsy shop or anything?
Yes, they are on my
Okay,
Etsy
great.
shop.
Then let's put that tag in the show notes here.
Yes, I
That's
will.
awesome. I love the sound, the simplicity of that.
Yes, and it's miniature, so you could keep it in your purse.
Oh, sweet. And another idea is to keep a gratitude basket or a gratitude jar. Could be a decorative box. And once a week, everybody in the family writes down on a piece of paper. And obviously, for your youngest ones who aren't writing, um, or for the ones who are early writers, not to have it a pressured thing where they have to write their own down. You could write it for them, depending how they're feeling. Um, and just writing down one thing at the end of each week that you're grateful for and popping it into that basket, the gratitude basket. And we were also talking about gratitude around the table at dinner time. Just a verbal, not a written. Yeah.
Or you can write it down, like right
At the
after
dinner
dinner.
table
Yeah, why not? Keep the
because
notes
you're eating.
well after you eat and jot
Oh.
it down while everybody's done eating, while the dirty
Oh,
plates are
okay.
still on the table. Just jot it down real quick.
Okay. I see. Not while you're eating, but
No.
right after dinner.
I like the basket though, and how at the end of the year you can go through the basket. And New Year's
Mhm.
Eve, you go through the basket, see everything that you are grateful for, and go through those memories of the year.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lovely way to wrap up the year together is looking at all those things that you wrote down you were grateful for once a week. So everybody would have 52 things that they were grateful for. And you might have missed a week here or there, but that's pretty cool. And there's also, on that note, there's what I call a remembering jar. And again, it could be a basket or a box. Um, but in that jar, you write down kind of big occasions or special moments that happen throughout the year to somebody in the family or to the whole family. And the remembering jar holds things like when a child loses their first tooth, they might want to say, let's put that in the remembering jar. Or maybe your family's moving and living in a new home. Or maybe there's a new baby that comes into the family,
Yeah.
so and they could be little things, they could be really big things like that. And your youngest ones might want to put something like, I got Halloween candy in the remembering jar, so it's not for us to veto what goes in there. If there's something that feels really important to the littlest ones, then let's have their voices in there too.
Of
And again,
course.
at the end of the year, that's what you would do on the New Year's Eve. Another thing that I've done, which I love doing, is a mind map of the highlight reel. I call it the highlight reel of the year. So a mind map is just on your piece of paper. You just jot down things all over the page. And then they're in their own little bubbles, a little circle around them. And I like to do it with colored pencils. And so you write all the big events and the memorable events that happened in your year. Um, and then you color each one in its own different colored bubble. And then you kind of just spend a bit of time acknowledging the year. So that's if you don't have a remembering jar or a gratitude basket that you're going to read out, you can also just make a mind map of the highlight reel of the year.
That's cute. And if each member of the family does it and you see what your kids put in it, that would be so
Yeah.
it would be pretty funny, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Theirs would be quite different than yours,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah. Yeah. I actually do that when I take my grandkids on holidays. We do mind map rather than getting them to journal about our trip. We've mind mapped it. So it's just like
Mm,
the highlights of the day or, and then we sort of color it in and different things. So that's been really fun. Yeah. So lots of different ideas some about making New Year's resolutions and some about acknowledging and being grateful for what happens in our day to day life.
yeah. And it's nice to see at the end of the year everything that's happened, everything you've gone through, everything you've overcame, all the obstacles, and just where you are now versus where you are at the beginning, and then
Hmm.
look look at it when you're going into the next year. Just
Yeah.
imagine, and then
It'll be, yeah, this is an interesting year for me. Going through 2021 in the middle of February, I had a house fire and lost everything. But prior to that, I think it was in October earlier, um, I had decided somehow I just made this decision I was going to write a poem a day for the when I turned 60, which was in February. And I was just going to write a poem a day. So then I had this house fire and I lost everything. And it was really traumatic. And a week later, I had my 60th birthday. And the night before my birthday, I was like, oh, what about that poem a day idea? I don't know. I don't know if I feel like doing that. Then I was like, I didn't tell anybody about it. If I didn't do it, it would just be me who knew I didn't do it. And then I was like, but I told myself, I made a commitment to myself and I'm going to do it. And I'm here to tell you that it has been an amazing process to get me through this traumatic year. It's been really, really something to write a poem a day.
yeah.
And that's a real look at my year if I ever want to go back and read through, everything that I've been through. Um,
I'm hoping that next year, 2022, those poems become a book.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
because that's amazing that you did that, and to be doing it through such a traumatic time, and just documenting all of that and keeping it, I think putting it together, and I know a lot of people have been following your poems.
Hmm. Yeah, because
So
I post them on social media. That's the thing. If you want to find my poems, come and find me, Lisa Sigurgeirson Max, on social media. They're all over my Facebook and my Instagram. So we can put the links in this show notes too, maybe for that. But
yes.
thank you. And I actually want to make some greeting cards because I also take a photograph of,
Yes.
and I put a photograph with each poem. And the photograph often inspires the poem of the day. And so I want to make some greeting cards, and I have a few different ideas of things to make. But anyway, that was all just to say, like, looking back on this year, even when there's something really traumatic like that, there's also a lot of beauty. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I've intentionally focused on beauty throughout the year to help me get through the tougher times. So maybe I just wanted to say that in case people do go through really trying times and difficult times, like, there are ways to get through it. And keeping a gratitude journal, keeping track of the positive things and the beautiful parts of life can help you get through the tougher times too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing that you've been doing that.
Thank you.
And for 2022, for me, I'm gonna have a new baby.
I know. That's one of your big remembering jar moments is
Oh
pregnant
yeah.
with number two.
Yes. Going into 2022 with one baby and leaving with two little
Yep.
princesses. That's
Yeah.
gonna be a big change.
Yes, it is. And
My
we're right here with you.
yes, you are. My biggest fear, honestly, with having a second child is getting them in the car. That's my
Totally.
biggest fear, having to get them in the car without my husband.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the second floor and having a toddler, she doesn't go down the stairs by herself. And then having a newborn, I'm so scared of that.
Wow. Yeah, that's where you need the physical village, not just this virtual
Yes,
one.
yes.
Um, yeah, so there's lots to talk about there too. We'll find ways of supporting you.
Thank you. So I guess just to close out, I just wanted to mention some resolutions that you might want to think about, because we did also talk about kind of making it not so much a resolution, but kind of sticking to your morals.
Getting
Pri-
out in nature more.
yes, that, and prioritizing eco friendly choices. So
Hmm.
being more aware of your consumption. Is that the word? Consumption?
What you're consuming in yeah, monetary sense. Hmm.
Yeah. And
What you're purchasing.
being aware of all the garbage you produce in your house, and plastic wrap and plastic toys, and just kind of being more aware and being more conscious
Hmm.
of.
Yeah, in the new year, we are going to cover some of those topics for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
But just to mention some good resolutions that you might want to think about are taking the stairs, like I said, prioritizing eco friendly choices, adopt a gratitude practice, like we mentioned. Pick a time to wake up. That's going to be mine. Waking up early and sticking to that time. Also, getting a skincare routine, live simple and consume less, consistent meal times, music instead of TV, which also might inspire you to not become a couch potato, but to pick up those things and put away some things that you said I'll do later, which will help you keep your home a little more organized. Also, flossing. I started flossing after I went to the dentist this year, and I'm so proud of myself every time I floss.
That's awesome.
um, ditch a bad habit. That's a good one. So instead of trying to add something, try to just ditch something that you do that's bad. Self care Sundays, like I said, scheduling something you want to adapt and making time for that. So Sundays are good for self care. 24-hour breaks from social media, incorporating a no spend month. I'd like to test my husband with that one because he's the spender, not me.
So not spending other than, your food and your groceries and
Your
your
bills and necessities.
essentials. Right. Okay.
Coffee at home instead of stopping at Starbucks every morning. A meatless Monday, practicing an act of kindness each week or each day. The do it now rule. So instead of saving all those decisions for later that usually become clutter, just do it now. Instead of putting the toothpaste without the cap down on the counter, put the cap on and put it away. uh Having a recipe box or a recipe journal, I have that and I'm so happy. I collect my mother-in-law's recipes, my grandma's recipes, and I know my kid or my kids will really enjoy that when they start cooking, because I'm
Nice.
looking for all the recipes now. So if they have what their mom and their grandparents made, I know they'll enjoy that.
Nice.
And putting the phone away an hour before bed. I really like that one.
Yeah. In I did some work in a sleep clinic because I've had terrible sleep issues for many years, given the chronic illness that I live with. But anyway, they say 2 hours,
Okay.
no screens for 2 hours, and that's partly because of what looking at a screen does to our brain.
Mm-hmm.
It activates the brain in a way that makes it really challenging for the brain to calm down and go into sleep.
Yeah. I know
Anyway, we could
most.
do a whole episode on sleep because I know so much about reclaiming really, really healthy sleep patterns.
Yeah. I know most people are usually in bed scrolling right before they go to sleep.
Yeah,
I
not
am.
so good
And
for us.
I know I do that, so I will try to practice that. I'm usually just looking at food right now in my second trimester. It's all food. And I watch the Food Network to go to bed.
And, again, let's start with 20 minutes screen free before
Yes.
sleep, and then
Yes.
go up to half an hour, and then go up to 45, and then go up to an hour. Don't try to jump into the 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Start with your first 20 minutes and get that under your belt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There's a lot of really lovely ideas in there. And we would love to hear from you. What first of all, do you like to do New Year's resolutions? Are you good at sticking with them? And has anything here given you some encouragement or some new ideas of how to make resolutions or even some new resolution ideas?
Yes.
Let us know.
Please share in the Facebook group. All right. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Here's to 2022.
It's going to be a good year.
Thanks for being here with us in our virtual village. We'd love you to join our Facebook group at The Village Parenting Community and on Instagram at The Village Parenting Pod.
And if you enjoy our podcast, please like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you have a moment, please leave us a review. It makes a big difference for us in reaching more parents out there who may be feeling alone.
Please direct message us to connect also. We absolutely love hearing from you. And until next week, we'll be keeping it real and raw right here with you.
This podcast is sponsored by the Singing Amma's private parent coaching and workshop offerings, and also by Enlightened Designs for Crafty Mamas.